This is Alex Murdaugh and his first interrogation by the police.
I pulled up and I could see him, and, you know, I knew something was bad. I ran out. I knew it was really bad. My boy over there, I could see it was...
Sorry.
And I could see his brain on. I mean, I tried to do it as limited as possible, but I tried to take their pulse on both of them.
Have y'all been having any problems out here? Trespassers, people breaking in?
None that I know of. The only thing what comes to my mind is my son Paul was in a boat wreck a couple years ago, and there's been he was charged with being arrested for being the driver. There's been a lot of negative publicity about that. He's been punched and hit and just attacked a lot. So, but I mean, nothing like this.
A lot in there, Phil. What are you seeing?
Yeah, you see a lot of things. The first thing that jumps out at me is when he says, I touched them both. I mean, I tried to do it. He has what we call a false start there. When he says, I touched them both, he's trying to convey something, but he realizes that that's not the way he wants to go. That's not the most effective thing for him to say. And then he says, I mean, I tried to do it as limited as possible. So what's he trying to get at there? He's trying to demonstrate that he knows he's talking to a police officer. And so he's trying to show them that he's helping them. This is in that persuasion bucket, okay? The first part, the false start, is in that manipulation bucket, okay? And he's trying to demonstrate that he's being helpful at that moment in time, that he's not going to contaminate the crime scene in some way. And it's hard to imagine that anyone that was in that situation would be worried about the crime scene if they were looking at their son and their daughter with the horrific graphic damage that's been done to them. And they would have very little reluctance to reaching out and seeing if there's a pulse and seeing if, there's just some miraculous chance that they're still alive and so forth. Again, he's thinking about the action that's there as opposed to the outcome that's really happened. And the reason he's doing it is because he's got to convince the officers to look elsewhere, that it's not him. And that leads us to the next part where he says the only thing, and then he stops and he says, what comes to mind? And again, it's another false start. But what's happening with the false starts, remember I said you think 10 times faster than you talk. You realize that what you're about to say maybe isn't as effective. And so I got a better way to say it. And he says, so what comes to mind? And then he refers to his son, Paul, and he starts going into the convince mode. He was in a boat wreck a couple of years ago. There was a lot of negative publicity, and then he was attacked and so on, trying to garner sympathy from the officer instead of focusing on the officer's question and providing real information that would help him, starting with either yes or no.
But the officer says, have you been having any problems out here? And he says trespassers or people breaking in. So what, isn't it on point to say, yes, there are, he's kind of saying, would anybody have been here like causing problems? He's trying to say there are people who are out to get us.
Yes, it's a much broader, it's a non-specific statement. In other words, there are people, this guy or the officer is looking for some specific leads, and he doesn't have those leads, but he wants to broaden by bringing up this story. What it also does for him is it broadens the requirements of the investigation. In other words, it suggests there may be other people that you should be looking at. So go look at them and don't look at me.
And that was what you called an anchor point shift, that what comes to mind, an anchor point shift, which you referenced earlier. And can you just expand on what that is?
It's really a qualifier. It's really a qualifier. What comes to mind at this moment? It's like, I'm going to give you this and I'll see if that works. And if it doesn't, then I'll go elsewhere, which is what he did.
Like many people, I am trying to eat healthier these days, and that is why I love good olive oil. And by good, I mean fresh. Olive oil packs the most flavor and healthiest nutrients when it's fresh from the farm. And that is the problem with supermarket olive oils. They're not fresh. They can sit on the shelf for many months growing stale. That's why I like my olive oil direct from small, award-winning farms, thanks to a guy named TJ Robinson, also known as the Olive Oil Hunter. When I tasted TJ's farm fresh oils, I fell in love with their vibrant, grassy, delicious flavors. It's delicious on salad, veggies, pasta, meat, fish, you name it. Anything you put olive oil on, basically. And as an introduction to his fresh pressed olive oil club, TJ's willing to send you a full-size $39 bottle of one of the world's finest artisanal olive oils for just one little dollar to help him cover shipping. Best of all, there's never a commitment to buy anything, and you can cancel your membership at any time. Get your free $39 bottle for just $1 shipping and taste the difference freshness makes. Go to harvestfreshnow.com. harvestfreshnow.com for a free bottle and pay just $1 in shipping. harvestfreshnow.com. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.